Welcome to First Time Watching. The Babadook is one of the greats of modern horror, but its ending is definitely one that might need a bit of explaining. The story follows a single mother and her son as they slowly descend into paranoia after an eerie children's book titled Mr. Babadook mysteriously appears in their home. And of course, I'll break down the film's final moments right after a full movie recap. So please like, subscribe, and hype up the video as we dive into the recap of The Babadook. Amelia has a hard time raising her son after her husband died in a car crash. Her son Sam is very scared of monsters, so needs her to make sure it's safe. But because of her depression, all of this is very exhausting. Every night he sleeps with her, and all she needs is some goddamn body autonomy. While Amelia is still asleep, Sam is downstairs, making a ruckus, and tries to help his mom by giving her the one thing she definitely doesn't want, a hug. She works in a nursing home, but even there she gets called into school because Sam brought a weapon. And since the school thinks Sam has big behavioral issues, Amelia decides to take him out of school to find him a new one. In the park, she meets with her sister Claire, but Claire has some terrible news. Her daughter, for the first time, does not want to have her birthday party together with Sam. Even that little crotch goblin knows that Sam is a tad aggressive for his age. He constantly demands attention, and when he doesn't get it, he does stupid shit. When they get back home, the dog scratches the basement door, but Amelia looks scared and she locks it. And then after dinner, it's time for their daily monster hunt again, and reading time. Sam found a new book called Mr. Babadook. It's an eerie book and tells them that after a rumbling sound and 3 sharp knocks, you'll know that he's around. Amelia fears the book might be too scary, but Sam insists, so she reads on, but the book tells them that once you see him, you will die. So that night's sleep is preemptively ruined. But when he's finally asleep, she revisits Mr. Babadook. She reads it, and then she hides it on top of the closet. Amelia spends the night watching TV, and afterwards, she tickles the skittle with her vibrator, but her buzzing magic wand wakes up Sam, so the little cockblocker runs to her room because he is convinced the Babadook is in his room. After he finally goes back to sleep, Amelia does some reading when she hears 3 sharp knocks. She decides to ignore it and go to sleep, and is woken up the next morning by Sam. She drops Sam off at Claire's while she goes to work. Her colleague Robbie is a bit sexist, but he is the only nice person in her life at the moment. He offers to take over her workload so that Amelia can go home and rest. She spends her time procrastinating instead, but when she checks her phone, she has 10 missed calls from her sister. Sam kept talking about the Babadook, and he really scared his niece Ruby. Amelia uses this to punish him and tells him he can't have a birthday party this year. Problem solved. Back at home, Sam is playing in the basement, and when she notices, she demands him to come upstairs. He's not supposed to be there. All his father's things are down there. That's when Robbie comes over to see their dysfunctional little family, so he immediately leaves, and Amelia goes into the basement. She finds her husband's stuff all over the floor. Later, during dinner, there is a shard of glass in her food. Sam tells her the Babadook did it. She says he should just go watch his magic tutorial DVDs, but when she goes upstairs, she catches Sam running around and finds a picture of her and her husband on the bed with his head scribbled out. She believes Sam did it and wants to punish him, but he gets his monster weapon because he doesn't want her to die. An eerie migraine is keeping Amelia in place. While Sam is upstairs, there is a loud thump and Sam screams. His dresser is on the floor, and he is hiding under the bed. The Babadook book fell down, so Amelia takes it downstairs and rips it to pieces and throws the book in the trash. And then, that night, when Amelia goes to bed, something falls from a chair in the room. So she puts her head under the blankets and goes to sleep. The next morning, Sam wakes her up again because she is going to take Sam to Claire's daughter's party. Sam acts like a brat, and Amelia has issues to act like a socially acceptable adult and snaps at one of Claire's friends. During the party, Sam gets in a fight with Ruby. She is horrible, and so is Claire. She tells Amelia that she doesn't want to be around Sam, and neither does she. And then Sam pushes Ruby out of the treehouse for telling him he doesn't deserve a dad. On the car ride home, Sam has a tantrum, but then he freaks out. It's like he thinks that they are not alone, and then he faints. She takes him to the doctor, who tells her he just has anxiety, and that it's normal that kids believe in monsters. He offers them an appointment with a psychiatrist. She begs the doctor for medication to sleep. Neither Sam nor her are sleeping, and it's really breaking them. He sees that she is at her wit's end, so he gives her enough for a week. So that night, she makes him take a pill and demands him to stop mentioning the Babadook, but he promises to protect her instead and tells her she should protect him, so she promises she will. She waits for him to fall asleep and then goes to bed. Amelia falls asleep, and the next morning, Sam is still in bed when she wakes. There is knocking on the door downstairs, but no one's there. Then there is another knock, but louder. On the floor is the Babadook book. It's fixed, but this time it's longer. It's getting stronger and has a page telling her to let it in because the Babadook is growing under her skin. It wants to make her kill Sam. She goes outside and burns it on the barbecue. Amelia calls Claire to ask her for help, but she doesn't want to hear about it. Not after what happened. But when she hangs up, the phone rings again. All she hears is Babadook duk duk. So she decides to go to the police to report that she is being stalked. But after she tells them she burned the book, they don't really take her serious anymore. In the back, there is a coat with a top hat, and she swears it has hands like the Babadook. So she rushes out of the station. She picks up Sam at the neighbor's house. But when she gets home, she finds a roach infestation under the fridge behind the wallpaper. Community services knock on the door. They are there to check on Sam. The workers ask him how he is doing, and he tells them he's a bit tired from the drugs his mommy gives him. She wants to show them the cockroach hole in the kitchen to show them she isn't going insane. But it was never there, so they tell her they'll be back later. While doing the dishes, she peeks into her neighbor's house and sees the Babadook. Sam enters the kitchen and distracts her. Then he is gone. Sam tells her he is going to bed. She tells him he can't yet, or else the pills won't work properly, so she keeps him awake. When she finally puts Sam to bed, the lights flicker. He is asleep, and she can hear the winds whistling. She lies awake and hears a loud noise. Then the dog barks, so she opens the door to let him in. But when she lays back down, the noise is back. The door opens, and a dark figure slides into the room. She hides under the blankets, but he loudly says, Babadook duk. She looks as it crawls over the ceiling and jumps at her. She grabs Sam and puts him upright. As she turns on all the lights, they are going to stay awake together. But as she sits in the living room and starts to doze off, she can now see the Babadook on TV. As morning arrives, the dog wakes her from her trance. She wants to go to bed, but Sam follows her and asks for food. She wants him to stop talking, and tells him to go eat shit, and then lays back down. But she can't sleep. She goes to Sam and apologizes to him, but he's afraid of her. She convinces him to leave the house with her by taking him to some shitty kid restaurant, and after they are going for a drive, but the car is filled with roaches and the Babadook climbs on top of the car, which makes her drive straight into another man's new whip. She ignores the guy and just drives off. At home, Amelia sits alone in the bath. Sam tells her he can call Auntie Claire. She gets up and puts him in the bath with her. Sam doesn't want her to go away, but she says she isn't going anywhere. Amelia goes to bed, and Sam lays with her. He asks her again that he can call someone. They have to get out of there, but he accidentally touches the violin she's holding, and she screams at him, so he backs off. The voices wake her in the middle of the night. She goes downstairs. There are whispers in the house. It's Sam he is in the kitchen and whispering to the neighbor on the phone, but Amelia tells her everything is fine. She shouldn't worry. She takes the batteries out of the phone and tells him not to embarrass her in front of the neighbors. She grabs a kitchen knife and cuts the phone line. He is scared. He doesn't want her to let the Babadook inside. She tells him nothing is coming in, so he should stop fucking worrying already. When she calms down again, she wants him to take the pill again. He acts like he takes it, but doesn't actually do it. That night, Amelia sits in front of the TV, but she finds Sam bleeding on the couch. She wakes up and he is fine, but she is holding a knife above him. Even the dog doesn't trust her anymore. To apologize for almost murdering her kid, she brings him ice cream. And later, when Sam sleeps again, there's a news report about a woman stabbing her son in the basement, and when the cops arrive, they shot her. In the background, it's her watching back, and then the lights go out. Sam is gone. He is sleepwalking. He's behind her and walks to the basement. She tells him it's not safe, and then follows him. In the basement, there is the ghost of her husband, and she hugs him. He tells her they can be together. She just needs to bring him the boy. So she takes more distance from him. His voice deepens. He wants the boy. She goes back up, and the lights flicker. The bulbs explode, and the Babadook is behind her. She runs upstairs and blocks the door with a chair, but his hat falls down the chimney. She crawls away as his claws come down. She tells herself it isn't real, but he rams into her back, and her eyes change. She sits in her chair and is twitching. Sam checks if the coast is clear, and the dog runs downstairs. Amelia runs after the dog and breaks its neck. neck. Then she pulls a tooth from her mouth. Amelia sees Sam at the top of the stairs and runs after him. He locks her out, so she tries to act sweet, but when he doesn't let her in, her demeanor changes and she kicks in the door. She floats towards Sam. She tells him she always wished it was him, not her husband, who died. She wants to smash his head into a brick wall. He tells her she isn't his mother and throws a firecracker at her face and runs off. She follows him, but he got his other weapons, fires them at her, and runs up to hide. There is a knock at the door, so Amelia goes downstairs. It's the neighbor. Sam runs to the kitchen and finds the dead dog. The neighbor wants to make sure they are okay, but Amelia turns and apologizes to Sam for not being a good mother. She is sick. She needs help. She spoke to the neighbor. They are going to stay there tonight. She wants him to meet his dad. He takes out a knife and stabs her. Then he apologizes and runs into the basement where he set a trap. She falls over it, hits her head, and Sam hits her in the back. When she wakes up, he tied her down. She screams at him, but he tells her he loves her, even though the Babadook won't let her love him back. She manages to untie herself and grabs Sam by the neck. He pets her face, and she puts him back down and shakes uncontrollably. Then she pukes out black goo. The Babadook is out. Sam tries to wake her back up, and they hug. They walk to the stairs where Sam tells his mom they can't get rid of the Babadook, and he gets pulled upstairs. She holds him in place and asks the Babadook what he wants. She walks into the darkness where her husband meets her. His head gets cut in two, just like the accident, and then his body gets pulled back. The Babadook steps forward. Amelia tells him he is nothing. She tells him this is her house, and he is trespassing, and if he touches her son again, she'll kill him. The Babadook backs off as she holds onto Sam. He is back to his scarecrow form and falls onto the floor. She walks towards it. Sam begs her not to. The Babadook gets back up and screams in Amelia's face. Then it rushes downstairs and locks itself into the basement. She hugs Sam, and they sit back down together. Sometime later, Amelia picks Sam up at the neighbor's house. They both look a lot better, but there is one thing that will never stop being in their lives. Every day, Amelia goes down to the basement to feed the Babadook, and when Amelia gave her husband's death a place to rest, she finally let Sam into her life. Like I said in the beginning, The Babadook has a heavily debated ending, so I'm going to tell you my favorite theory before getting into what I personally believe. The theory is that Amelia and Sam are actually dead after the Babadook book returns, and Amelia tries to tear it apart. It contains additional pages. The new text reads, "I'll wager with you. I'll make you a bet. The more you deny, the stronger I get. You'll start to change when I get in. The Babadook growing right under your skin. Oh, come see what's underneath." The pop-ups show Amelia choking her dog, choking her son, and slicing her own neck with blood pouring out. This moment is important, so keep it in mind as we move forward. Immediately after she burns the book, Amelia goes to the police station to report what's been happening. On the wall, she sees the Babadook's coat and gloves, which scares her away. This can be interpreted as another hint from the director that her grip on reality is starting to slip. A little later, CPS comes to inspect the house. The hole in the wall that Amelia insisted was there is obviously gone when they arrive. Again, this suggests that her sanity is deteriorating. Another detail people often overlook is the hit and run she commits during the car accident. Under normal circumstances, the other driver would easily be able to identify her and her vehicle. She backs up, maneuvers around the car, and drives away. The other driver would have seen her license plate from just a few feet away. There's no realistic way she would get away with this, which makes the happy ending feel a little too perfect. The climax of the film shows Amelia completely losing control. She kills the dog, and after Sam lures her into the basement, we see her choke him. But when she releases that black liquid from her mouth, she suddenly stops. Here's the key detail. This moment mirrors the book exactly. First, the dog, then the boy, and finally, Amelia's liquid cleansing. According to this theory, she actually sliced her own neck, and the liquid we see is really her blood pouring onto the floor, just like the book predicted. After this, Amelia and Sam appear to go upstairs to her bedroom, but in reality, she may never leave the basement. What we're seeing could simply be her mind coming to terms with death. There's also an interesting detail when the Babadook appears upstairs. Amelia screams in terror when she sees it. If the Babadook was simply a projection of her trauma or a manifestation of her dead baby daddy, she should theoretically be able to visualize and confront it directly. But the Babadook is never fully shown, which suggests she never truly faced it, and perhaps never faced what she actually did. The final scene contains several subtle hints that this might be Amelia's final thoughts reacts as she dies. The dog is buried in the garden. The neighbor seems oddly calm about Amelia being stabbed in the leg by her son. Amelia suddenly has a new job. The community service workers barely react when Sam talks about breaking his cousin's nose or not celebrating a birthday for 7 years. And then there's Sam's magic trick. But the most striking symbol is the bowl of dirt and worms. Dirt and worms are classic symbols of death and burial, and the camera lingers on the bowl for quite a while. The film suggests it's food for the Babadook. But if the Babadook is not a physical being and never truly disappears, why would it need to be fed? A more poetic explanation is that the bowl represents Amelia's death and burial. Now, for my personal take on the ending. I think the Babadook makes the most sense if you've experienced depression yourself. The feelings portrayed in the movie are very similar to what depression can feel like. When I look at Sam's behavior and Amelia's reactions, aside from the obvious horror elements, it reminds me a lot of what my wife went through after our son was born. She experienced postpartum depression, and our son was extremely affectionate. He constantly wanted to touch her or cuddle, while she sometimes just needed her own space for a moment. In my view, the Babadook is the physical embodiment of Amelia's depression. It slowly consumes their home and their lives. When she finally confronts it, she doesn't destroy it. It retreats into the basement, and that basement is important. It's where she keeps all of her late husband's belongings, the place that holds the deepest pain in her life. Depression doesn't disappear completely. It stays with you in some form forever. That's why she feeds the Babadook at the end, to keep it under control and make sure it never takes over her life again. The only thing that still doesn't make sense to me, like I mentioned earlier, is Sam's magic trick at the end, because there's no way that kid suddenly got that good. And that's a wrap. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.